Hey, so I just got done editing the video you're about to watch, and there's a few things I wanted to talk about. First of which is it's going to be a little bit darker than usual, and so the camera quality is going to be a little bit grainier, so just please overlook that. It was filmed during daylight hours, though, so I was not legally required to fly a strobe. And lastly, I wanted to make sure everybody understood that the flight visibility minimums were met. I fly Part 103 ultralight aircraft, and there's certain regulations that we have to adhere to, and I did meet those minimums. Even though there was a little bit of an overcast that day, I still had plenty of visibility. That being said, I was watching the skies, I was watching the area, making sure that there was no aircraft approaching my direction. I was also monitoring my O2 levels, and I was just all around trying to do everything I could to make the flight as safe as possible. So, hope you enjoy the video. Stay tuned.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I was going to try to do something a little bit different today. I've got a goal to set a new personal record for maximum height reached during flight. Legally, we are allowed to go up to 18,000 feet. We start running into some issues long before then, as far as the lack of oxygen, and oftentimes the wind at that height is a lot more severe than it is on the ground. But even though we've got a little bit of a hazy day today, we've got some pretty calm winds aloft. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that and see what we can get to. I've got some ideas in mind of what I'd like to reach, but we'll just have to play it kind of as we go and see what the winds are like. So I'm going downwind right now. I'm going to try to get over my landing area there, and then I'm going to turn back around into the wind to help give me maximum lift. And we're going to see how high we can get. Right now we are at roughly 2,400 feet MSL, mean sea level. So we're about 1,100 feet off of the ground from where I took off from right now. But we're going to try to get up there and see what we can get to today. I'm not going to bore you with that because it's going to be probably a fairly lengthy process of me getting up to that height. But we'll see you in a few minutes. All right, everybody, I'm back. We are about 7,000 and some change above the ground, 8,727 feet MSL. I've still got visibility, so the overcast hasn't got too thick yet. It was up higher than I thought, so I'm still feeling pretty good, so we're going to keep going. Again, I'm going to be very mindful of visibility, and if it gets to where it's too thick, we'll just try this a different day. But for now, we'll keep going. See you in a little bit. All right, we are nearing 10,000 feet. We're going to use that as our goal. 10 to 12,000 feet was what I was wanting to get to today. With the overcast above me, I'm happy with 10,000 feet. We'll wait till a more clear day. That way we can appreciate the view even more to go any higher. But here we are, 9,960 feet. Let's give it a little bit of gas. Let's get up the rest of the way. 980, 990, 10,000. Wow. 10,000 feet up. Oh, it's cold. All right, we're up at a little over 10,000 feet. I'm pretty cold. It is about 40 degrees colder up here than it was when I took off on the ground. And then you got the wind chill on top of that. But I was thinking about what would be appropriate for today's message and what I might could preach about, given what today's goal was. And today's goal was to reach 10 to 12,000 feet, and I've done that. I was thinking about how over in Philippians chapter number 4, verse number 11, it says, "Not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I know both how to be abased, I know how to abound everywhere in all things. I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need, and I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. And I was thinking about how that Paul wrote this. If anybody had ups and downs in their life, it was the Apostle Paul. He was a well-educated man. He kind of forsook those things in the pursuit of being a missionary, in pursuit of spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. And because he chose to do that, you know what? Let's just go ahead and kill the engine. Ain't that crazy? So we're a little under 9,000 feet up right now with the engine off. Just get on a little sidetrack here for just a split second, and then we'll get back to the message. How peaceful this is to just be up this high and to not have the engine noise. You know, it's not super loud with these earmuffs, but just to have the engine off this high, that's, I don't know, just something about it is a little bit majestic. Back to what I was saying. So the Apostle Paul, he knew what it was to have. He knew what it was to have not. He knew what it was to be comfortable. He knew what it was to be a prisoner on a ship, to be shipwrecked. He went through a lot. In other words, he had his ups and downs in life. And I was thinking about us as Christians, how that we are going to have ups and downs in life, and that's just part of the Christian life. God never said that we wouldn't. What he did say is that he would be with us, and what he did say is he would give us the strength to make it through those difficult times. But I was thinking about how that, you know, I started on the ground, and then I rose to, you know, a little over 10,000 feet up in the air. And I was thinking about how that in life, I've had some ups and downs. I'm not going to pretend that I've had a very hard life. God has blessed me in so many ways, but there have been things that I've had to go through, and there have been some struggles that I've had to go through, oftentimes against my will. But I was thinking about the ups and downs of a Christian life and how that sometimes times are good, sometimes times are bad, sometimes maybe there's more money in the bank account than other times, sometimes maybe your health is better than other times. Just there's so many variables to life that I guess constantly is moving up and down. But I was got to thinking about how that a true Christian, and God's having to teach me this right now, and I'm not always doing such a good job at learning. But God is having to teach me that regardless of how high or how low I am, maybe in this part of life or in this chapter of life, that should not dictate my happiness. That should not dictate my joy. If I'm not careful in those low times, if I'm not careful in those valleys, my attitude will become the same level as maybe what I'm going through. If I'm in a low time spiritually, my attitude will be low. My attitude will be bad if I'm not careful. What I believe God is trying to teach me in this time, in this season of my life, with the ups and with the downs that come, is that doesn't need to dictate how I look at life. That doesn't need to dictate how I react to things. You know, sometimes I'll go a couple weeks and just seem like I'm in a bad mood for a couple weeks. You know, and usually that's tied to some external pressures or some external things that I'm going through that make it difficult. But what I'm learning, or at least what I'm trying to learn, is how to not let that dictate how I act. You know, a true Christian, I believe a true characteristic of a mature spiritual Christian is somebody that is going through something, somebody that is going through some difficulty, but yet they are still able to have a good attitude about it. Somebody that's able to, regardless of what they're going through, regardless of what's going on in their life, they're still able to have a good attitude. Now, sure, you know, it's kind of unrealistic to expect somebody just to be going around with a smile on their face 24/7. That's just not realistic. But you can have a good attitude without necessarily all the time being, you know, super smiley. And I believe that is something that will catch the world's attention. A Christian that can be going through something, a Christian that can be going through the fire, that can be going through the storm, that can be going through that struggle, that season in their life that is more difficult than usual, and still be able to worship God. Still be able to go to church, still be able to serve God, still be able to keep doing what they need to do. Somebody that can do that is somebody that has got a hold of something that is outside of this world. This world can provide temporary happiness, but joy is something that goes beyond happiness. Joy is something that you can have even when things maybe aren't going the way that you would prefer. And a Christian, one of the benefits of being a Christian, one of the benefits of giving your heart and giving your life to God is being able to have joy. That is something that God allows us to have. That is kind of my goal. We're halfway through the year 2023, but I believe that's something that God is trying to teach me in this year, and that's kind of a goal that I'd like to set, to have just maybe a better grasp on by the end of the year, is to have a deeper understanding and a deeper hold on joy. Not necessarily happiness, but on joy itself. Because if I can learn how to trust God in the hard times, if I can learn how to be happy in the hard times, if I can learn how to be content in the hard times, then I believe that there will be many spiritual benefits to that. And I believe it'll be a testimony to others, and I believe it could be a help to others if they see that I'm going through these things, but yet I'm still able to serve God. I'm still able to be pleasing to God. So that's just something that's kind of been going on in my head here lately, kind of been a goal of mine here lately, is to not let my external circumstances dictate how I feel internally, how I react internally. Like I said, some days I do better than others. And I think that's just kind of all part of learning. And God, like I said, God is having to show me this thing one day at a time. But that was just a little thought that I had. I hope it's a blessing to you. I hope it's an encouragement to you if you're saved this afternoon. If you're lost this afternoon, there's something better and there's something deeper out there than what you know as happiness. See, you don't know what you don't know is a saying that I heard one time. And if you've never been saved, you don't truly know what it means to have joy. And I'd hope that maybe this message would be something that would spark an interest in your mind and in your heart. And I would challenge you to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Just give Him a try. I guarantee you, you won't be disappointed. But until next time, may God bless you. Paramotor Preacher out.